Hello, welcome to the Morning Serve, brought to you by Emirates. I'm Nick McArdle. Sam Stosur with us today. Sam, good to see you.
Thank you.
Heading towards the middle weekend. As a player at a slam, did you think, okay, middle weekend, bit of a marker. If I can get through to the second week, I'm in the hunt?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think the goal, especially when you're, really whether you're a seeded player or a non-seeded player, if you can get through that middle weekend, you feel like, okay, I'm in second week, and that's always a bit of a goal for every player when they haven't done so before.
On today's edition of the Morning Serve, let's have a look at what is to come, and we're going to talk about how to beat a champion, that is Aryna Sabalenka. Naomi Osaka's AO so far. Naomi Osaka on the comeback trail. The teen sensations, a couple of guys lighting up the men's draw, and we're going to preview Draper v Vukic. So Aryna Sabalenka, Sam, first up, wasn't that long ago, and I think everyone remembers the yips on serve. How she turned it around. She's a two-time Australian Open champion now, but to turn that big moment in her career around.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of players out on tour would love to know the exact answer to that, because it's not, it's not something that's necessarily unusual in the tennis world. Lots of players go through problems with their serve, but she has done a phenomenal effort to go from where she was just two Aussie Opens ago, really, to now being so dominant on serve, and you really would have no clue that's happened. And to do it so quickly and so confidently, I mean, huge props to her.
Personal experience? Happened to you?
Yeah, I went through a little stage of not enjoying my kick serve for a while, which was a really unsettling feeling, considering I could do it from when I was a little kid, and then all of a sudden didn't feel like I could use my best weapon anymore. So tried to keep it under wraps when I was playing, but it really can be unsettling, and unfortunately it can also then flow into other parts of your game, which is obviously what you never want to happen.
So if she was to do the hat trick and win a third in a row, her place in history, where would she sit?
Oh, I mean, well, already she's, one of the greatest, players that is going to play. She's going to win many more Grand Slams. But if she can win 3 in a row here, considering it hasn't been done for 25 years, and the last person to do so was Martina Hingis, who is an absolute legend of our sport. It would set her right up the top there. So that is a phenomenal effort if she can achieve it.
Does a player who's playing with the prowess she is at the moment, is there a psychological edge over players, the opponent, even before they walk on the court?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Steffi Graf, Monica Seles, they had that. Serena had that, and it does. It certainly counts for something. You can be up, maybe 4-love before you've even hit a ball in certain situations against more inexperienced players with your, dominance that you can show week in, week out. It is a scary prospect playing someone like Aryna Sabalenka here at Grand Slams, because we all know what she's capable of. So absolutely no doubt everybody in the locker room's watching her and obviously the other top players, and they don't want to come up against her.
So Coco's a name that's being talked about as maybe being a challenger to Aryna Sabalenka this year, Iga Swiatek as well. If you're them, how do you handle it? Do you almost, because you've got so much faith in your own game, do you almost forget who's at the other end of the court?
Well, the likes of those two, they're obviously champions in their own right as well, and they believe that they've also got that aura, which they do. And their head-to-heads, aren't bad. They're actually ahead, against Sabalenka, depending on the surface, court conditions. I think here, Sabalenka certainly has that edge. She loves this court and has showed that she's the best player the last 2 years here. But look, they have to back themselves. Obviously, there'll be little tactical things that they'll talk about with their coaches if they do come up against her. But I think ultimately they're going to back themselves to play their tennis.
Naomi Osaka, there was a lot to like about her way in here. She did well in Auckland, coming back from maternity leave, I guess you'd call it. What have you made of Naomi Osaka's campaign so far?
Oh, look, she played very well yesterday against Karolina Muchova. Obviously, quality player, and they've flip-flop results in the past. But look, Naomi Osaka, she's always going to be dangerous. I don't know if she's quite found where she wants to be yet after returning from giving birth, but she came back very quickly, which is amazing in itself. I think the more time she can spend consistently at these tournaments and smaller tournaments, probably just to get used to that winning sensation time and time again, is certainly going to help her.
Within the bounds, the 2 weeks of a Grand Slam, is it possible to maybe find her best over the next week and a half, or does it almost by definition take longer than that?
Well, I mean, look, it's not her first tournament back. Let's remember that. But she's had some pretty tough draws in some of these big events since her return. But I'm sure she expects a lot of herself, and she's not going to want to just make up the numbers here. So she's going to be gunning for titles, and sooner the better for someone like her.
Whether it's here or maybe a slam later in the year, is she a contender to lift one of the big trophies this year?
This year, I'm not sure if it could be this year, but if it is, it's going to be the US Open. I think the clay's certainly not her favourite, the grass not necessarily there, but as a hard court player, you know, she's a threat to anyone. And if she can really get that roll on early on in those tournaments and dominate like some of these other top players currently are, the way that she used to, I wouldn't necessarily back against her at the US Open.
It almost feels like she's lived her adult life in the spotlight. We kind of come to know Naomi Osaka as a young woman. Do you think motherhood has kind of helped her find some peace in her life?
Oh, it certainly seems so. She seems probably be a little bit more all-rounded. It definitely changes you without a doubt. And I can only imagine her schedule, the way she tries to manage that, motherhood, home life, tennis life, travelling, sponsors, all the likes. I wouldn't even want to look at her diary. So, like what she's able to do is really, incredible.
All right, well, you know how difficult it is, indeed. All right, for Emirates, let's have a look at the flight plan. What's in store? What catches your eye in terms of these matches?
I think Jack Draper and Alex Vukic, obviously Aussie. He had a fantastic win in his previous round, and I mean, what an opportunity. Obviously, Jack's a fantastic player, but had that long match against Thanasi Kokkinakis, so you never know. For his sake, I hope there's a little bit of tiredness there.
So Alex, with that five-setter, and it was tough for all sorts of reasons, the rain, one of those reasons. What did you make of that win? Gee, it was gutsy.
Oh, just gutsy. I mean, his first top 25 win, I believe. The thing is, he's such a good guy. He plays, aggressive tennis. He's got a good serve, big forehand, tries to use it all the time, super professional. So you want to see guys like that doing well, and for him to make the third round for the first time in a slam here in Australia, really excited for him.
Actually, hearing you guys speak, you're not the first to say, in terms of our experts, you're not the first to say how pleased you are. He's obviously very popular, but you've all seen how hard he works, and this is reward for how hard he works.
Oh, it is. This is why these, guys and the girls play on the Challenger circuit. They, grind for years. They get some opportunities, get into the top 100 and slowly build up, and he's certainly proved that, now he can kind of stay in that 60, 50 mark, hopefully get even higher, and tournaments like this, making it at least the third round, can only give him a boost. So it's you want to see the good guys win. So, and he's certainly one of them.
He spoke about how difficult he found the rain delay yesterday. So on and off, I think it was 2.5 hours all up in the end, that the big gap. To be able to navigate that as well, that's a big tick, surely.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's frustrating when the rain comes. Maybe it's not expected. What do? You eat more, rest more. Probably did multiple warm-ups. So obviously the players are all in the same boat. But I think sometimes the player who can handle that the best and maybe really be able to switch off and then turn it on again, often come through, because that was a long match and a taxing match. He obviously managed the emotions and everything else that goes with playing these matches very well yesterday.
It was long. Wasn't quite as long as Jack Draper against Thanasi Kokkinakis. That's the longest match. Well, it's the longest match of Jack Draper's career, the longest match of this tournament so far. So both of these guys coming off long matches. How will Jack Draper back up after that?
Well, yeah, good question. I mean, obviously, long match, like you've just said. I think he's under a little bit of an injury as well. So, but, Jack, I have heard no matter what he feels like, he just keeps going. He pushes through, and then it's after the fact they realise maybe maybe not so smart. But that's what I love about watching him play. He's obviously got that lefty sort of feel and look, and he's young. He's excited to be out there as well. So, look, he's going to give it everything he's got. But I think, this is obviously a great opportunity for Alex Vukic.
The other thing that Jack Draper had to contend with not only Thanasi at the other end of the court, whatever John Cain Arena holds, but it was packed, it was at capacity, and everyone was yelling, making a lot of noise, and right behind the Aussie.
Yep.
Jack Draper's going to get exactly that again.
Yeah, now he's used to it, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure it's not going to be any quieter next time around. So that's what makes the Aussie Open so fun. They get behind their players, and I think on the whole, actually, Australians were pretty fair, but here in this setting, you know who they're going for. Yeah, well,
Jack certainly knew who they were going for last night. So just a quick tip in that one, you can't go past Alex with the nationality going on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's back him
back
all the way.
Aussie. Now, Sam, a couple of teenagers we're going to be talking about for a long time, I think, Jakub Mensik and João Fonseca. Teenagers, they've knocked off 2 top 10 seeds, and I think Murray, Djokovic were the last people to do that as teenagers. How good are these kids?
They're good. And I think when you've got the likes of being in the company of Djokovic and Murray, it's something special. And I think there's been a little bit of talk about them both in the past, especially Fonseca in the recent couple of months, and they're certainly living up to what everyone's seen, and now, really showing it to the rest of the world.
You've seen what they bring. They've both got big weapons. Do you look at that and go, future world number one there?
Well, potentially. I mean, for sure, that's everyone's dream. Number one, there's no guarantees in any of this. Number one, winning Grand Slams, whatever it is, and they're still very much early in their careers. So we'll see. But I have no doubt if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to be challenging the best guys very, very soon.
To be number one, is there? There's the tennis side of things and the skills, but is there also the mentality, the mental strength, the discipline, and the want? It's not just about the tennis, is it?
No, no, absolutely not. I mean, there's a reason why there's only one number one, and why it doesn't flip-flop too much. It's tough to be there, but it's not just about hitting forehands and backhands and serving a high percentage. There's management off the court, there's, time management, there's everything. There's so much that would go into it. I never experienced it, so I wouldn't even want to think what all that is, but yeah, I mean, these guys, they're going to get, some well looked after in years to come.
How much have you seen of Mensik, and what have you liked about his game?
He's pretty flary. I think he's still young. He still shows, I've got that power and different things, but he still has some of those dips every now and then. But to beat Casper Ruud yesterday in 4 sets, he held it together, and I think he's going to be an exciting player to come.
A lot of people sort of look at that and they think, it's just not the same without Federer or Nadal and Murray gone now as well, although coaching Novak. But then we get this regeneration, don't we, where there's another generation, probably kids walking around here, who are just going to fall in love with this new generation of stars.
Oh, no doubt. I think there was, a few people probably in the tennis world were a little bit worried when the likes of those three did retire. But, wow, straight away they've picked up with Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev now stepping up. So, there's a lot of exciting tennis that we're currently seeing, and I think those guys are going to be around for a long, long time. And, who knows, maybe challenge some of these records that our, greats that have been able to set.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot as we head into the second week. Have you changed your view about the man and the woman who might lift the trophy at the end of the tournament?
No, so far so good. They're still in, so that's a start.
Who are we talking?
Well, I picked Sabalenka and Sinner, so 2 number ones, defending champions.
Maybe
not going out on a limb too much, but I do think they are the favourites, in my opinion.
All right, good stuff. Sam, thank you very much, and thank you for your company today on The Morning Serve.
Wide World of Sports on YouTube is your home of the tennis this summer.
With highlights of the best matches of the summer of tennis, the on-court interviews, and every day with The Morning Serve, you'll be ahead of the game.
So click that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing this summer.